The air hung heavy with the scent of salt and brine as Elias, a weathered fisherman with eyes like the stormy sea he navigated, hauled in his net. It was a meager catch, barely enough to feed his family for a week. He sighed, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders like an anchor. His wife, Lena, her hands calloused from years of mending nets and caring for their daughter, Maya, awaited him at the shore, a worried frown etched between her brows. "Nothing but small fish today," Elias said, his voice gruff with exhaustion. Lena knelt beside him, examining the catch. "We'll manage," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands. "Maya will be strong like her father." But Maya, a wisp of a girl with her father's sea-green eyes, was frail and thin, her coughs echoing through their small cottage perched on the cliff overlooking the endless expanse of the ocean. Their world, confined to the rocky shores and the vastness of the sea, seemed to be closing in on them like the tide. Elias longed for something more, a life beyond the relentless cycle of fishing, mending, and struggling to survive. He dreamed of a future where Maya wouldn't have to cough through the nights, where their small cottage wouldn't creak with every gust of wind. One day, a stranger arrived in their village. Tall and slender, with eyes that shimmered like polished obsidian, he introduced himself as Silas, a cartographer seeking rare maps etched onto ancient stones hidden along the coast. He offered Elias work to guide him to these lost treasures in exchange for a share of the reward. Elias hesitated. His gut screamed at him to refuse, but the desperation gnawed at him like a hungry beast. The thought of enough gold to buy medicine for Maya, to finally rebuild their crumbling home, was too alluring to resist. He agreed, and thus began his journey into the unknown. Silas proved to be an intriguing companion erudite, passionate about history, and possessed of an enigmatic air that drew Elias in. They spent days traversing treacherous cliffs, deciphering cryptic clues etched on weathered stones, and navigating through hidden caves teeming with ancient whispers. The work was arduous, but the thrill of discovery, of unearthing secrets buried for centuries, kept Elias going. As their journey progressed, a strange bond formed between them. Elias shared his stories of life by the sea, while Silas spoke of distant lands and forgotten civilizations. He learned about Silas's past, a life spent traveling the world, seeking knowledge and unraveling mysteries. But there was something Silas never revealed, a shadow that lingered behind his vibrant eyes, a darkness he seemed to keep carefully concealed. One evening, as they huddled around a flickering fire on a windswept beach, Elias noticed a peculiar symbol etched onto Silas's weathered map case, the same symbol he had seen carved into the stone tablets they had uncovered. It was an emblem of power, ancient and unknown. Elias confronted Silas, his voice tight with suspicion. "What is this?" he demanded, pointing to the symbol. Silas's smile faltered for a fleeting moment before returning, but his eyes held a flicker of something dangerous. "A reminder of my purpose," he said cryptically. "But it's nothing to worry about." Elias wasn't convinced. The weight of suspicion settled upon him like a shroud. He started noticing inconsistencies in Silas's stories, contradictions that hinted at a hidden agenda. Was Silas truly just a cartographer, or was there something more sinister lurking beneath his charming facade? Torn between his growing distrust and the hope for a better future, Elias found himself at a crossroads. Trusting Silas meant jeopardizing everything he held dear, but refusing him meant abandoning the dream of a life free from hardship. He had to make a choice, one that would determine not only his fate, but also the future of his family. Meanwhile, Lena grew increasingly worried about Elias's long absences and his distant demeanor upon his return. Maya, sensing her father's unease, clung to him even tighter, seeking solace in his fading warmth. As days turned into weeks, the tension between Elias and Silas escalated. They argued over cryptic symbols, ancient texts, and the true nature of their shared quest. Elias knew he couldn't ignore his gut feeling any longer. He had to confront Silas and discover the truth behind his enigmatic motives. One stormy night, as the wind howled like a tormented beast, Elias confronted Silas in their cramped quarters. He demanded answers, accusing him of deceit. Silas's calm facade shattered, revealing a ruthless glint in his eyes. He admitted his true purpose. He wasn't seeking lost maps for knowledge but for power, intending to use the ancient artifacts to control the very forces of nature. "You see," Silas said, his voice cold and menacing, "the world is not ready for such knowledge. It will be corrupted by it." Elias, fueled by a newfound determination to protect his family and his world, refused to let Silas succeed. He fought back, using his knowledge of the local terrain and his desperation as weapons against Silas's superior strength and magical prowess. The fight raged through their makeshift quarters, shattering furniture and sending tremors through the earth. The storm outside mirrored the chaos within, lightning illuminating Silas's twisted features and Elias's fierce determination. In the end, it was Elias's unwavering love for his family that gave him the strength to overcome Silas. He managed to trap Silas beneath a fallen beam, severing his connection to the ancient power he sought to control. As dawn broke, casting a pale light across the ravaged room, Elias emerged battered but victorious. He looked down at Silas, who lay defeated and trapped, his eyes filled with a mixture of hatred and despair. Elias knew he couldn't kill Silas, not without becoming the very monster he fought against. He decided to leave him imprisoned in the cave where they had discovered the ancient artifacts, a silent warning against ambition and greed. He returned home to Lena and Maya, his body aching, his spirit weary but unbroken. He was no longer just Elias, the fisherman. He was Elias, the protector, the guardian of his family and his world. The scars of the battle remained, etched both physically and emotionally, a reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface and the courage it took to face it. Life returned to its familiar rhythm, but it wasn't the same. Elias no longer felt content with simply surviving. He was driven by a newfound purpose to guide his daughter towards a brighter future, one where she wouldn't have to live in the shadow of fear and uncertainty. He taught her about courage, resilience, and the importance of fighting for what is right, even when the odds seem insurmountable. And as Maya grew older, so too did Elias's confidence in his own abilities. He became a leader in his village, respected for his wisdom and his unwavering determination to protect those he loved. His story became a legend whispered around campfires, a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the enduring power of love and hope, even in the face of overwhelming darkness.